Hello everyone, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are tracking Hurricane Zeta live as it is making landfall right on New Orleans here. So to learn more about Hurricane Zeta, stay tuned and enjoy. If you'd like staying up to date with the latest weather forecasts and updates, then please consider hitting the subscribe button below. Let's see how fast we can get to 2,000 subscribers. Also, to help this video's performance very much, please consider clicking the like button and sharing this video with your friends. Also, please consider watching the whole video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. Yes, Hurricane Zeta has officially made landfall. If you know anyone in the path of this system, then please consider sharing this video with them so they can find out the latest about the storm. Yes, Zeta has officially made landfall. This is the latest 5 p.m. update. 110 mile-per-hour winds here. And notice how fast the storm is moving as well. North-northeast, although I'm pretty sure it's pretty much northeast at this point, at 24 miles an hour. And it's going to race to the north and east. All right, and it's also going to impact the southeast, the Appalachian Mountains, all the way up to the mid-Atlantic, and even the extreme southern coast of New England, although I think New England won't be getting much out of this. The only reason New England might get some rain from this is because it's going to merge Winter Storm Billy, and then some of Billy's moisture might interact and then impact New England. But in terms of what Zeta is going to impact, probably the southeast, the Appalachian Mountains, and the mid-Atlantic. But we're going to talk about what it's doing right now, because New Orleans is getting hit right now. We have hurricane warnings from the southeast Louisiana coastline, Mississippi coastline, Alabama coastline, all under hurricane warnings. This is a 110 mile per hour hurricane. Now, if you know about the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale, you know that a Cat 3 is 111. So technically, to me, this is a Category 3 hurricane. I'm sure it is. Like, it's 1 mile an hour off. But technically, yes, it is a 110 mile per hour Cat 2 making landfall now on Louisiana. And also, look at the tropical storm force wind probabilities. Even as this moves through areas well inland, the chances for tropical storm force winds never fall below 40%. All right, so there's going to be a good 40% chance of tropical storm force winds all the way through the mid-Atlantic, because this is going to be moving so fast it doesn't have a chance to die down. Meanwhile, tropical storm force wind probabilities and hurricane force wind probabilities are near 100% in places like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. And I know you guys have not had a break. This has just been relentless here. Hurricane force winds have officially started to impact the southeastern Louisiana coastline. Tropical storm force winds have entered Mississippi now as well. All right, and if we look at the interactive map here, all right, if we zoom in right there, as you can see, this is there's actually kind of like an island chain right here in Louisiana, so technically it crossed over that, so technically it has made landfall even at the 5 p.m. update. But there's your hurricane force winds there. Huma is probably in those 58 mile per hour winds. Morgan City's in the tropical storm force winds right now, as is Baton Rouge. But eventually, this is going to be moving north, and New Orleans, you guys are not too far away from this. New Orleans, well, this is as of 5 p.m., so New Orleans is in the 60 mile an hour winds right now. The hurricane force winds are not too far away from you. All right, so again, key messages to take away from this: dangerous surge, life-threatening hurricane conditions. We got damaging wind gusts, and even through Thursday, heavy rainfall being into the mid-Atlantic. You guys can still pick up 2 to 4 inches plus of rainfall. Even though it's going to be moving fast, we can see heavy rainfall rate, and that's going to be able to cause a flash flooding, even though it might be moving fast. Also, I mean, if you've been on my community tab lately, you might be talking about, I kept updating on Zeta and how the surge is going up. Well, I got bad news, because the storm surge has just went up yet again at the 5 p.m. update. Surge at first was going to be about 3 to 5 feet, and then it went up to 5 to 7, then 6 to 9. It is now up to 7 to 11 feet of surge, anywhere from the mouth of the Pearl River on the Louisiana-Mississippi border all the way to the Mississippi and Alabama border, right around Biloxi. 7 to 11 feet of surge, all right? And this one's kind of lining up, very similar to Katrina as well. Like Pontchartrain, 4 to 6 feet of surge, and surge is up to 6 to 9 feet now between, what is that, Port Fortune and the mouth of the Mississippi River. 6 to 9 feet of surge there. Intracoastal City, areas that are hit by Laura, it's a little bit lower because you're west of the storm, but still 1 to 3 feet of surge for you guys. Appalachian Bay, still 1 to 3 feet of surge, nothing really changed there. Mobile, Dauphin Island, your surge is up to 6 to 9 feet as well. So this surge has gone up yet again. And we're going to be looking at the tide schedule as well to see if this really lines up. Rainfall totals, sometimes, yes, the rainfall can be higher when a hurricane is coming on shore. All right, even though inland can still get a lot of rain. Actually looks like the most rainfall will actually be along the Appalachian Mountains because of the slope enhanced rainfall. You guys can see 4 to 6 with isolated totals higher than 6 inches of rain. But down by the coastline, I mean, still 2 to 4 with patchy areas up to 6. But I think around the Appalachian Mountains, you guys have a chance to get over 6 inches of rain. And of course, 2 to 4 inches extends all the way up in the mid-Atlantic through Virginia, through Delaware, through New Jersey, through Maryland as well. Maybe even Cape Cod might get 2 to 4 inches of rain as well. Cape Cod. All right, so all you guys can still get very heavy rainfall. And 2 to 4 inches, when it's coming in a short period of time, that's really not going to help matters much at all. So I have the tide table pulled up for Biloxi, Mississippi, and sadly, it is kind of bad news. All right, we had low tide in Biloxi around 4:25 p.m. earlier this afternoon, which was pretty much about 2.5 hours ago. Now, yes, I mean, technically we're closer to low tide than we are high tide, but basically, what's happening now that we have passed 4:25, that means between 4:25 and 11:13 tonight, tide will be continuing to rise. All right, and remember, the storm's making landfall right now, so you're pretty much seeing the worst of the surge come in. And yes, surge, the peak winds will be aligning with the highest tide because high tide will be at 11:15 tonight in Biloxi and probably similar in surrounding regions. So that's pretty much going to be when the peak of the storm is. I mean, between now and like midnight. So that is honestly not good. And even probably just after midnight too will still be affecting parts of the south there. All right, we got the wind map. Let's pull up wind gusts. As you can see, we got some wind gusts there. 104, although on the advisory, sustained winds are 110. All right. Now watch this moves north. Now high tide's at 11. All right, well, let's go to Biloxi. All right, there's Gulfport, and there's Biloxi. Look at this. Winds gusting past 110 miles per hour right at 11, right when high tide is. So that is very bad news for a place like Biloxi. All right, also some bad news for Biloxi is you got to look at the geography. I'm going to zoom in. Look at the geography of Biloxi. Yeah, Biloxi, I wouldn't say it sits on an island chain, but let's say that there's a stretch of land here, and you have water behind it, which really, that isn't good either because the water is going to flow right over top of here and back into this area of water back there. Now, also look at how this area of water that's connected to the Gulf, behind Biloxi, just to its north, west of Ocean Springs. Notice how all these creeks and streams, you see what I'm getting at here, right? They all flow well inland, all right? And because this wind power, this storm's going to be moving so fast that the wind power, there's going to be more winds. Even though the rain, like I said, it's a win and a loss because even though the storm's moving faster, there will be less rainfall, yes, but the surge is still going to be very destructive, and we're still going to see very damaging winds. All right, and notice how far these rivers and streams go inland here. They go inland into central Mississippi. So honestly, that is very bad news. All right, that's just the geography around Biloxi. I'm going to zoom out. That's the European model. We're going to take it to, and look at some of the wind gusts here. Keep in mind, at this point, the storm's center is in Birmingham, Alabama. Well inland, right? Right in the central Alabama. We will still see wind gusts, according to the European model, past 90 miles per hour southwest of Montgomery. And keep in mind, here's the center over there in Birmingham. This is at 5 a.m. So destructive winds will be carrying their way. And keep in mind, these are wind gusts, but still, like we can still see wind gusts getting 90 miles an hour. This could be happening frequently, not just one gust that gets to 90. We're talking about frequent wind gusts going to 90. I saw 95, I think, at its peak. Then you have to remember when it hits the Appalachian Mountains, you have the mountains that enhances the rainfall. Okay, that mountainous terrain. Also, this enhances the wind speed as well, even higher than what some of the totals may say on here. We still see wind gusts past 70, 75 miles per hour in northeastern Georgia out on the mountains, but it could be higher than that, okay, because of those mountains enhancing those wind speeds. All right, then it moves into Virginia and Delmarva, where winds could still be gusting pretty close to 70 miles an hour through Richmond, all right, and through the Chesapeake. Or I should say south of Chesapeake, more so in the southern Delmarva. All right, so that's the European model. Let's take actually look at some of the wave heights right now because I'm very interested to see the wave heights. Let's go look at those. Pull up wave heights right there. So this is the European WAM model, if you want to call it that, WAM. Wave heights right now just offshore, they probably will be coming in pretty soon. 26-foot waves. All right, let's go to 5 o'clock in the morning. As you can see, most of the wave activity is over here to this point. Still 15 passing 20 feet. This is very dangerous. Sea surface temperatures are above average. All right, even though sea surface temperatures at this point are below 80, they're still above average for this time of year. Winds currently 110 miles an hour, and here's the current storm location. All right, again, staying right there. We're going to take a look at some live radar actually right now. 91 degrees west is the current coordinate, and 28 degrees north. All right, let's actually give this a refresh. Like I say always, I pretty much set this up a few minutes ago, but let's give it a little refresh anyway. And look at this. The eye wall has actually pretty much passed through New Orleans already. I mean, I actually think there's actually two eye walls. There's one eye wall right here. Then there's a more intense eye wall right here. So this thing literally has two eye walls. They both have the same exact structure of each other. They both look like eye walls. All right, this up here is not an eye wall. That's just heavy rain. But these two areas right here are both eye walls. And New Orleans is probably getting the worst of it now, I'd say. There's a little eastern band feature that's developed. So there's New Orleans. All right, getting pretty much the worst of it now. I'd actually say the worst of it is about 10-15 miles to your north-northwest. But for areas like Huma and Grand Isle, most of the rainfall is over. All right, but we still do have to worry about the surge a lot, definitely. That the water level rise at this point is probably your biggest worry along the southern Louisiana coast. Let's actually refresh this as well. So 1 hour precipitation, basically precipitation we're getting every single hour, pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, we see rainfall rates in these two eye walls. Rainfall rates will be passing 2 inches per hour. And still, even though this is still moving, even though this is moving fast, rainfall will still be lasting for several hours. So 2 inches an hour for that long is not going to be good. All right, and granted, that's only a localized spot. Most areas are seeing about 1 inch of rain per hour, which is still a very high rainfall rate. But like I said, even though water is still a very big threat in this hurricane, there could still be some rainwater flooding, but that's not as big of an issue as it usually is for these type of storms, which I guess you could say is good news, but we still have to, again, if there's less rainfall in a hurricane like this, then chances are the wind's going to be higher, because when there's less rain, typically it means the storm is moving fast. So that's a drawback. We're having stronger winds now, so you're going to get more wind damage out of the storm system. If we look at the track, again, all the models are just right on point here on a track. I think actually some of the latest model tracks have bumped it a bit farther north. So tracking right through maybe northern Maryland, northern Delaware, central Jersey, as opposed through southern Delaware and southern Jersey. I mean, it makes a difference for the major cities like D.C., Philadelphia. If this moves a bit farther north, maybe New York might get a little bit more than they originally were forecast to get. GEPS kind of saying the same thing. And again, your intensity guidance, I mean, pretty much self-explanatory as well. Pretty much will be going downhill. All right, because the storm will be weakening as it makes it down shore. Here's the NAM model. Again, there's that rainfall coming through. All right, this is 8 p.m. When I'm recording this, it's 7 p.m. So that looks just about right. This is 7 o'clock with the NAM model. Looks just about right. I think they have the storm moving a bit too fast, but overall, this is very accurate. All right, and then the rain's moving through central Alabama with full force here. I mean, by the time most people, I mean, still sleeping. This is 2 a.m. Eastern time. All right, Atlanta's going to be there for you. Now, Atlanta's rainfall will mostly of it be to your north and west. Atlanta Metro, I would definitely be worried about the wind, not so much the rainfall. Rainfall will be about around 1 inch. We can still get some heavy downpours in Atlanta, but most of those 2, 3, 4 plus inch rainfall totals will be to your north and northwest. And then look at that low pressure right over DC. There's your mid-Atlantic region getting the rainfall, all right, on Thursday. And we still see some more developing on Friday morning. And by Friday afternoon, this thing is way offshore. All right, so rainfall totals down around Louisiana, Mississippi. I would say definitely around 4 to 6 inches, according to the NAM model. We got a lot of rain still for the Appalachian Mountains there. Localized areas that do get the burn of it could get over 6 inches, and then about 2 to 3 for the Mid-Atlantic as well. So still very heavy rainfall. Since this is live at the time I'm doing it, we're going to actually get one more check on the radar here before we close off. And there you go. Again, there's your one band that's kind of acting like as a premature eye wall, and then there's your real eye wall right there. If I'm looking correctly, and the plus represents the city, so New Orleans actually is just now getting out of the eye wall. You might still get some wraparound, but for New Orleans, I mean, the worst of it, in terms of the radar for New Orleans, the worst of it is over. All right, and this is at 6 p.m. Central Time. So yeah, and this is actually about 5 minutes ago. This radar loop. So it's probably, you gotta remember, this thing's moving at 25 miles an hour, which you might think is slow, but for a tropical system, it's very fast. So like in 5 minutes, this eye wall could be like getting closer to Mississippi in like 5 minutes. So this is moving pretty fast. It will be actually accelerating close to probably moving at 30 miles an hour. All right, as it continues to move inland, it's only going to accelerate more once it hooks up with the jet stream and the other storm system. So thank you guys for watching this live coverage video. Stay safe, stay awesome. I'm the Weather Dude, signing off till next time. I will catch you guys in the next video.